welcome back to Bourbon Sauced. I'm Dan with Ryan. We got Todd and Blaine here, some GBs, and we gonna drink some bourbon, and we're gonna talk about what's the difference between the X-ray program and kind of going the conventional way, I guess, if that's what we're gonna call it.
Prior MOS crossover.
Yeah, prior MOS crossover. So stick around. We got a show for you. Before we get into it, we're drinking Horse Soldier bourbon here, which we've got a pretty good selection.
Yeah.
I think all of us are doing the small batch.
We did the small batch.
Is that what you?
I got the small.
That's you got small batch. What did you decide to pour yourself?
We'll call it small batch.
Call it small batch.
So we didn't pick one of these.
I'm more of a cask guy.
Oh, okay.
Did you pick one of these? This one? That's how I knew.
He's got the barrel strength. So okay.
I mean, he has the same bottle, but it's autographed for his family, so he won't open it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So you like the
Mark.
barrel strength more than anything.
I tend to.
Okay.
I tend to gravitate more to higher proof.
Nice.
He likes to feel the burn.
I don't know.
Can't you just tell?
I don't think penicillin can.
Happy about it, but
Yeah.
I don't think penicillin can
look
cure
at
that burn
look at
though.
the physique.
I have to learn.
It's the physique here.
Yeah.
He likes to feel that burn in the gym.
He's like, yeah.
Getting soft and fat.
It translates.
That's what happens when you get old, man. I'm telling you, once you get out, it just kind of goes away. You don't work out as
My
hard.
wife's not going to tolerate that.
She's like, we have a standard here at this house.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So
And I never meet it. So.
Yeah.
I bet she has a drawer that she's got that tape. When she breaks out the tape, she's like, "Come here."
She can eyeball it. She was an NCO.
Oh, she's like, You picked up a couple of pounds.
all right.
Not in the right places either.
So what do you think about that barrel strength? Is that
I am a fan of it.
what kind of a taste do you get out of that one?
So I do get a lot of the oak in that.
Mm-hmm.
But I am super impressed by what they have in their full lineup, quite honestly.
It's good stuff, man. I really like Horse
Fantastic.
Soldier.
What those guys are doing and have done.
And what they have done, yeah,
phenomenal.
Right?
Absolutely
And
phenomenal.
for those of you that don't know, Horse Soldier bourbon originated, because of the guys that were part of that 12 Strong movie that everyone's seen by now, hopefully. The Fifth Group guys, that was their insertion into Afghanistan. Not insurgent.
Well, they're doing back-to-back episodes, clearly.
Yeah.
Huh.
Listen, all right. I've had a few bourbons.
Listen, Linda.
It's fine. Everything's
Maybe
fine.
put you back on door duty.
Yeah.
It was an honor to sit there and watch him, though.
It really was, man. Like just him talking about stories, just rattling it off, and even the B-sides that you guys didn't hear afterwards.
Right.
Man, like
Talking about the tanks and everything
That
else.
is-
Like
that is some
big
green
brass
red
bands.
shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, yeah.
Yeah, the most-
we don't
I mean,
get
most-
to do that. Yeah.
Most GB trips I ever had was Surrey, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Me too.
Those guys lived the dream life of
Yeah.
what GBs kind of sign up to do.
Yeah. A lot of our guys that left after a couple of the tours and then missed out the Syria trips, man, they kind of
They
missed
regret
out.
it.
Yeah.
Now it's all
Now it's all hand holding missions and
Yep.
kind
I
of
don't
hugging babies and
thought command.
kissing ladies
Right.
and stuff.
decisions or whatever.
Yeah.
Transference of priorities.
Well, Todd, what did you think about that?
Leaking?
So I'm having the small batch.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
Okay.
Just delicious. Now I had I think the barrel strength on the taste test,
Yeah.
and that was really you knew it was a higher proof.
Yeah.
You did know that.
Yeah.
But also, like, I agreed with what you were saying earlier about that, like, fall caramel apple taste. Like,
Yeah.
I got that right away as soon
Yeah.
as I had
Isn't
it.
that
And-
weird?
Yeah. And then you said it, and I was like,
Yeah.
That's kind of where, like, we just did that pick this last weekend at Whiskey Thief, and that's exactly why we were kind of hitting it for Thanksgiving time frame, because it has that warm caramel apple pie taste, which
Mhm.
is higher proof too.
Yeah. I do like
gets
some
you
of the
through
ones that
Thanksgiving.
have like that graham cracker finish, like or a smoother, sweeter finish to the bourbons, because I don't like ones where it's like
Now, if you want
peppery finish, like
Yeah.
the higher rye ones
Right.
usually get that harsh
that
pepper.
graham
I hate
crackery
that.
finish, chicken cock.
Yeah, I know. You gotta watch that episode. If you guys haven't seen the chicken cock episode, you should go watch
I'm gonna
it.
have
It's
to try
kinda
that
funny.
now.
That's
Just, I mean, on name alone.
Just because you want to try
Right,
some
I'd
cock,
love to.
it's fine.
One did you
I just went with straight bourbon.
Yeah.
And
You can go up the 7-year or their other ones that they've got.
They've got some fantastic.
They've got
Yes,
some
they do.
really good ones. We couldn't find them locally, so that's the
I'm
biggest
trying to
problem.
find, Chanticleer.
Okay.
Yeah.
What?
Which
I
is
know where
Yeah.
bottle is, but I have some at the house for the.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. We're always
I'm
down.
always
for
down
that.
for that.
So
Yeah.
if I get permission.
Oh, absolutely. If we don't screw this
If
one
the
up.
boss
yeah.
gives us, if
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
if the boss gives
If your wife doesn't cancel you after this one.
She's borderline every day.
So you guys both have been in the Green Beret community for a while now, yeah?
Yeah.
You're getting ready to retire.
Yep.
And how long you been in?
About halfway to retirement.
Halfway to retirement. So
Hmm.
you're
I'm
still
super old.
Are you still in the teams right now?
No, I had shoulder surgery, so I moved over to group. I am a desk jockey right now.
Nice. So you
Yeah.
guys are both flying desks.
Yeah.
That was your choice, which we talked about
Was my
before,
choice.
which is a smart way to go.
A lot of
Versus
guys don't
being
get that
punted.
option. A lot of guys get forced into other things, and
Yeah.
they learn to accept it. As we do everything, right?
Right.
Nobody likes change. Nobody wants to leave the teams.
Yeah, because you have that camaraderie, you know what I mean?
100%. And
So it's tough.
some really tight guys, great dudes. So, life just changes for each individual at times, and take that, especially being an older guy.
Yeah.
You know what? It's probably about
It's a
time.
mentorship role now.
Oh.
Yeah. And what's your MOS?
Bravo.
So you're
18
Bravo?
Bravo, yeah.
100% of Bravo.
Both.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we got Bravos.
Knuckle drivers.
We got Bravos.
It's weapons sergeants. For those of you that don't know, 18 Bravo is a weapons sergeant. They specialize primarily in weapon systems and employing those weapon systems and teaching everybody how to properly maintain and manage your weapons so you don't flag people and shoot them accidentally or
Yeah.
get,
But
negligent discharge.
harder with the partner forces.
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen some of that in action. It's
Now, if you had
interesting.
Echo on here, they would have wanted to set everything up,
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
or worried
See,
that you wanted to put up a.
I was a
medium
comm
or
guy,
something.
so
I got you.
And if you had a Charlie, he'd be
What-
worried about all the serial numbers
Yeah.
and everything. So
I just had an epiphany.
Steal a bottle of bourbon on his way
yeah,
out.
100%. Allocate, relocate.
yeah, relocate.
Fire.
Yeah, it's repurpose. You got to repurpose
I
it.
just had an
That's a
epiphany.
thankless job.
It is a thankless.
No one cares if you have comms. But they
Until you
damn
need
sure-
it.
Damn
Yeah,
sure do if you
once you
don't.
need
Yeah, once you need it, then you're like, God damn, why is this radio not working? But
I get
just
used
blame
to
us
that
on-
sometimes for
It's-
certain training.
it's the sun flares. That's why his comms not working right now.
Yeah.
It's atmospheric.
Ionosphere
Yeah.
or
The
something.
curvature.
It's all the
And you can
surface.
get people like us that are like, yeah, it's
the contrails.
Checked out.
Yeah, it's contrails out there. They're interfering with our wavelengths. And yeah, I had to check the rotary girder. I'm retarded.
So, what was your previous MOS?
So it doesn't even exist anymore. I was a 45 kilo when I first came in. I got talked in.
What is that?
I joined as right, wrong, or indifferent. I joined for revenge.
Yeah, that's the right
prac-
reason.
Practice wife's father talked me out of joining into doing some cheetah flip stuff right out the gate, which I'm glad I didn't. Right, but 45 kilos is a tank turret repair. Right, so everything from the hull of the everything from the bottom of the hull to the end of the turret that deals with the mechanized portions of the weapon system, I fixed those on Abrams,
Okay.
Bradleys, Paladins, whatever. Right, an armament shop that's not an armorer. You have 3 different jobs. You had the small arms guys, right? Fix everything from at the time Beretta to towed howitzer,
Mm.
and then from us it was a towed howitzer all the way to the tracked vehicles. And then you had the Golfs who did all electronics dealing with the firing systems of all those. Now there's only 2. 91 Golf, 90.
How long did you do that?
So I did my first 5.5 years down in Fort Hood, and then came here in 2009. I was in
So you reclassed when you came here?
no, so I came here, and 6 months later is when
Oh, okay.
I came here with intent.
That's good. And then you went through the traditional way, I guess, if you want to call it that, of
Yeah.
Officer selection.
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
through the selection process.
You know, and I knew some 5th group guys. I'd worked with them on previous trips. When I say worked with them, we gave them parts for whatever they wanted.
Right, yeah.
For guns, like
Yeah.
come check this stuff out. Here you go.
Right.
But I showed interest, and a couple of the guys that are still actually around brought me over to the compound and like worked out with a couple of the guys, and they were like, if this is what you want to do, man, we think you have a good chance.
Oh.
Kind of talking me up. I mean, we're our best sellers, right? So when I went, it was, I'm going to lay it on a line and I'm going to let them tell me whether I have what it takes or not.
Nice. Whereas you went through the X-ray, so straight off the streets,
Yeah.
you had an X-ray contract, which guarantees you a spot.
Actually, no, not technically. So, I joined the Army at like 34 and a half.
Oh, you joined real late.
Yeah. The toughest part of my military service was basic training with 20-year-olds. But no, like so
They're all in the corner crying about they don't have internet. And
I didn't know.
Wait.
I didn't know the X-ray program existed.
You joined at 34 and a half?
Yeah.
I thought we stopped doing the halves at like 10.
Oh no, I'm like 175 months.
I think it's when you hit your teens. Yeah, 13 is when it's like on half.
So I was about like 5 months away from old to join the Army.
Gotcha.
But I didn't know the X-ray program existed.
Okay.
I knew, like, I was one of the dumb kids that came in that knew, like, Special Forces, that's Rangers, Navy SEALs, like, it's all encompassing. Yeah. I mean, like, I didn't know anything really. Like, my grandpa was in the Army. My uncle was in the Army, World War II and Vietnam, respectively. But I just had I guess my family likes to say it was a midlife crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Live longer than 70. I came in, I went to my recruiter and just told him I wanted to be infantry.
Yeah.
He was like, "No, you don't." I was like, "Yeah, I do." And he was like, "No, but how about this? And how about that?" And I was like, "Nope, this or nothing." Because while I was ignorant in the Army, I was not ignorant in what I wanted in life.
Right.
So in basic training, I got through the first 9-week portion or whatever, and was approached by a SF recruiter. It was me and another guy who's actually, and they said, "Hey guys, why don't you guys sign this?" He was like, "You guys aren't probably going to make it at all, but you'll at least get airborne out of it."
Yeah.
I was like, "Airborne, sweet. That puts me at Fort Bragg and close to Clemson." So, but it ended up working out for me.
Why did you want Clemson?
I'm a Clemson grad.
I already knew this was coming. He's a Clemson fan.
So you went to college.
Mm-hmm.
Why the hell did you not come in as an officer?
See, now
My wife did the same thing.
Now you sound like my uncle.
Pride is a bitch.
All respect to all the officers I've ever served with. There's great ones, there's good ones, there's different ones. But I wanted to be I'm one of the boys. It's so that's just it's always been my mentality, and that's why I wanted to be enlisted.
So you like Clemson. That's pretty much safe to say that you don't like the Gamecocks.
That is 100% safe to say.
How do you like the chances of Clemson actually making it into the playoffs this year?
I'm not after watching that Duke game. I'm not I'm not.
You're not too optimistic.
Too optimistic about but
yeah,
that's a sore subject.
Yeah, we'll see this weekend against Florida State and how much they beat
I'm
us.
looking forward to that, honestly. Actually, the one I'm looking forward to, and this is totally off subject, but we're gonna segue back. The Colorado game with Oregon.
Yep,
dude, that's gonna be us.
Oregon's like a 21-point favorite.
Yeah.
However,
you got the Dion factor, man.
Count out Coach Prime.
I'm telling you. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I really am looking forward to that. I love that he's got such reach, kind of like how the fifth group guys, you have a community. Those guys in the NFL, they have their own little community, so he can pull from all these fucking dudes that have so much experience. And
his son's got great mentorship, and you can tell while watching him play.
Dude, he's had Tom Brady there teaching him. Like, what?
Yeah.
So who's your team?
As far as
college sport.
College football.
Because I don't watch the NFL. I grew up in Virginia, and they used to be all Virginia teams, but it hit or miss for me. Since we got busy in 2010, I've been busy my entire career.
Yeah.
So
Sports
you weren't
just pretty much tapered out of my life.
I was going to say,
grown daughter, a 17-year-old son, and a 20-month-old toddler. So
your kids involved in sports at all?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My daughter played softball. My youngest son played baseball. He ended up switching back over to soccer in his latter years.
Nice.
Did you went old playing football or what?
Yeah, it's backgammon.
Yeah.
you got him in the gym with you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's lifting.
He's my spotter.
Yeah, right. Like, Dad, don't worry. That 315, I got that.
Yeah.
It's fine.
100%.
He's like, you need to catch up, old man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be soon. I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
So when you guys you picked your MOS, or did that kind of get picked for you guys?
So when you go through, you put down what your wants are, right?
Yeah.
And that's
Like a dream sheet.
That's going to selection, post getting selected, and once you show back up
Mhm.
to report for the Q course. And mine was consistent pretty much the entire time. It was always Bravo, Arabic, and then fifth group. Right.
Yeah.
When I came back to Q course, they give you 3 selections, and they try to give you 2 out of the top 3. At least at the time. I'm not really sure how they do it now. I assume so much because they're trying.
Right.
They want a healthy family life too. And
Yeah.
if Mama don't want to go to Fort Bragg, then whatever they're calling it now.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
so, all 3 of my picks were fifth group.
I think it's Fort Freedom now. I think is what they're
Fort
called.
Liberty.
Oh, Liberty. I think it was something along those lines.
It's always going to be Fort Bragg.
Yeah.
Fort Bragg,
That's That's tough. That's one of those tough ones that kind of like let go. Just like
like 101st to always be airborne.
Fort Bliss and all those other bases that they're changing.
Yes, it's going to lead into
I know. We're gonna
We're gonna leave that alone because we'll get political. Did that work the same for you?
It worked the same for me. So like they gave us a list. Like we got a list after we got selected, and it was like rank your MOSs 1 to 4. And I took the risk of being cute, and I put Bravo for all 4 of them. And the guy was like, "You must want to be a Bravo." So like he gave me Bravo. It didn't work for a friend of mine who put Bravo for all 4. Once he saw me do it and get Bravo, that cadre told him, "What the fuck do you think you are?" And they gave him Echo. But
Yeah. So when I showed up to the auditorium, because they break everybody up, and they're like, "All right, everybody wanted, Bravo over here, everybody Charlie, Delta, Echo, right?" Well, Bravo was like 2/3 of the entire auditorium, and they're like, "Some of y'all, most of y'all, ain't gonna be Bravos." And they went down. When I went down the list, and they were like, "About your."
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, like I think it was like 120 and above, right? And so I was like, "Oh, I got one." By the time they got to like the second row, they were like, "All right, we're dropping it to 115." And I was like, "Fuck."
You're like,
I was like 4 rows back. But by the time he came around, he was like, "You gonna be a Delta?" And I was like, "Nah, that's not gonna work for me." And he was like, "What'd you do before?" And he was,
Yeah.
I was like, "Well, I worked in an armament shop on guns." Hand me my paper back. What's in that?
yeah.
You're like, yes, I win.
Yeah.
So when did you go through?
So I went to selection in brisk, cold summer month.
Fort Bragg in summer. For those of you who don't know, Fort Bragg in the middle of summer is not a good
It's
time.
like breathing peanut butter.
it's not pleasant, especially.
First of all, it's like Fort Benning, but you don't have the giant mosquitoes. But you have snakes.
Right. And
Which
there
is
are
different.
copperheads in them
Yes,
creeks.
100.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like take your pick.
When did you go?
I went to selection in literally the brisk cold December of 2014.
It is actually cold,
Yeah.
which is another shocker for those that don't know about
Yeah,
North
yeah.
Carolina. It's fucking cold.
Yeah, I would definitely wake up with ice on my sleeping bag and fell in a couple icy creeks.
Well, 30 of the best guys that I saw quit. The experience of meeting these 30 guys that were in our course, going through the Q course, quit based off of 6 days of inclement weather in the winter, and it was miserable.
Yeah, but I think that's from everybody I talked to, that's what you want. You want the harshest environment you possibly can endure, so that way okay, I fucking survived that. I can survive anything.
We could just break this brush and meet the objective on the other side instead of walking through this swamp. And they're like, "You go swamp," you know what I mean? Like, there's intent,
right?
And it works.
Exactly, it does for the most part, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, because it creates that drive, and the tenacity that you need, and
you gotta want it,
and you want to know the dude next to you going to suffer,
right?
Yeah,
100%.
Because if you're in the shit, and all of a sudden the guy's like, "Oh, I miss home," and you're like, "What?"
You got to want it, and you got to be willing to sacrifice to get it.
Yeah. Which I think that's the intent of the selection process in general. And then that, luckily you guys didn't get peered out. So
yeah, I mean,
I did have a 15 of 6 or 15 of 16 pink slip on my last one. Yeah. But once I explained myself to the cadre why, it was
I think we've all
mixed up.
I think we've all had 1 or 2 of those where even the cadre looks at it and we're like,
yeah.
And then people, like a lot of people are out for themselves, and they're like, "Well, this guy's the best, so I'm gonna," because that'll put me up.
Well, you got to figure most of the guys that are going through those are strong, dominant personality types generally. And the ones that aren't, that are pretenders, they usually get weeded out in the first day or two.
They do, and even like the cadre, most of the cadre at SWIC been around long enough to recognize that.
Exactly.
You know,
there's a brilliant science behind it, and I mean the selection chart that they have that is non-NDA, like who knows, but they know.
Now you guys have done SWIC time too?
I have not
yet.
Luckily, I
thought that was a requirement.
Yeah, I got
it's all in the cards.
I got left on the list to go teach SLC on this last SWIC levy, but luckily, knowing that I was going to pop on the list, I re-enlisted while I was on deployment, and I re-enlisted with the condition of stabilization. So they were like, "You're on the list," and I was like, "No, I'm not." And they're like,
there's a hard, fast, and steady for every sergeant major that has to make that list, right? You guys know that, man. Guys get over it, but you get over it, right?
Yeah.
But knowing that you have Green Berets who are specifically selected, trained, and equipped to G2, like make things happen. Like the dudes are going to try to do everything he can to make it for himself, right? Some guys get talked into it, and it's better for them and their families. And they need a break that they didn't know they needed, right? And it pans out,
right?
Some of us have been like trying to G2 it the entire time, So some of it's like
how to stay on the team, man.
G2ing it, man. Like injuries put you off a team for a while, so your team time switches up.
Well, because I think like Big Army, they usually make them do drill instructor time, or is that a voluntary thing?
No, it's not voluntary. So you can't volunteer.
The Army as a whole will ask you to give back.
Right.
They have an investment in you, and they want you to give back.
So it's kind of the Green Berets community's way of doing the same thing. It's like, hey,
exactly, and also
go spend some time assessing guys.
That's what I'm saying. Like some dudes need that break, and like you can volunteer for SWIC too. You don't have to just be told. You know,
right.
You just run ragged after them.
Like I know somebody who left to go do a Halo instructor, because he wanted.
Poor guy.
Right. But it was like, hey,
it's like going down to live at Key West and be a dive instructor. Oh my god.
I know, right? But it's one of those things where you come off a team and you're going away from that environment that you were kind of comfortable in.
Right.
And he did it because I'm related to his wife. She's kind of a high maintenance person, and so she was like, "I'm tired of you deploying. I need you to find something more
talking
stable."
About you, whoever that is.
Yeah, whoever
you know who you are.
I hope she doesn't want.
But like, so for Big Army,
she is cousin.
You have two options, right? You have DA select for drill. You also have DA select for recruiter. But then you can also volunteer for drill or recruiter.
Yeah.
And then same thing with you all, if I'm not wrong. You get selected, but it's not DA select; it's SWIC select, right?
Typically by like seniority,
or you volunteer.
Right. Like, and I mean, like I knew that's why I did what I did with my re-enlistment, is because like I knew that in my company at that time, I was probably the most senior or second, like senior as Bravo with team time, and I saw the writing on the wall, and
I know a lot of y'all do the 18 Fox course to get
going through as an older guy.
Intelligence sergeant doesn't really describe me.
So you going through as an older guy, how was that met when you're competing against 18-year-old studs?
It was met with me trying to I think it actually helped me out, to be honest with you, 100%, because it was me trying to prove to myself that I could still do it.
Yeah.
And I pushed myself pretty hard. Like I was a college athlete. Like I ran track and cross country at Clemson, and I pushed myself harder in those 2 years in the Q course than I've ever pushed myself. And I did it with a smile on my face because I was like physically stomping 21-year-old dudes.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think there's a difference between
you can see, but
especially no, but endurance athletes have an advantage because that's basically what it is. It's a mental and physical endurance course.
It is. It tests. It definitely wears on you. It tests everything. Like, I mean, yes, you need strength. I mean, everybody needs strength, and like you can, but like, I think mentally the endurance factor is, and like that's why
it's a grind.
If I didn't go through when I did at the age I was and where I was in my life in like a headspace point, I don't think I would have ever made it.
Yeah. So I went through, I went to selection, I was 32. So I was a little bit seasoned too. And then, when
seasoned, I like that.
Yeah.
But
They
you
used to
had
say at the
military time
recruitment-
under your belt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I was working on my 6th year,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
5.5 year. Anywho, they used to say at the recruiting station, it's like 60-70% mental, 40
Right.
30% physical, which is
I-
pretty accurate.
Yeah,
I think
so.
the older you get, the more understanding you are of what
You see
you're
the bigger
enduring.
picture.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I understand why they're putting us through this.
Right.
Whereas
Yeah.
when you're 18 years old, you're like,
Like, why
that
are they
rep-
doing this to me?
yeah, they're like,
That was
this
always
is just
my-
dumb. Why am I
Even as an
doing
old
this?
graduate at 26, like that was always my problem as a troop in the big army. I didn't know the bigger picture. It wasn't being portrayed to me.
Gotcha.
I'm asking, like, my immediate supervisors
Yeah.
don't understand either. Everybody's pissed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's you get that curmudgeon disgruntledness at the lower enlisted, that's just like,
Do you think it gave you a better advantage versus somebody that comes in as an X-ray,
yes.
having prior Army experience?
I
Because you
do and I
kind of
don't.
know what you're like getting into.
All right. So I think a lot of things in life, I think that's a great underliner for all of us having made it to where we made it, but definitely I think time in the big army prior to coming over, I think helped. I think it also hurts guys too, because you have been used and abused, especially early on the GWAT where you're doing 12 to 15 month tours or longer.
Oh, yeah.
That shit wears on you. I mean, my first back injury was my first deployment. So, and then after I came back from selection, I had to have spine surgery, which delayed my, term. Yeah. So the guys that come out of the X-ray program that make it to the Q course and through the Q course, like, have a massively greater advantage over the guys that have been beaten up by the big army.
Yeah.
We'll say, I agree. Especially
Except for the experience.
Especially I was going to say in the physical, like the endurance tests, like rucks and runs, like you've been basically training like that since basic training. Like that. You've been training for in selection. I will say X-rays have 1,000% advantage on anyone that came in, because one, you guys still have a job to do.
Yeah.
So it's not like you can train all day.
Right.
When an X-ray comes in and like they finish airborne school, they go to Fort Bragg, Liberty, and their job is to train to pass selection.
Yeah.
That's their job. Like, you don't have, like, I'm not pulling motor pool Mondays, I'm rucking on Mondays, rucking on Fridays, running on Tuesdays, running on Thursdays.
So they put you through your own little prep course
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Actually, back up at Bragg
It's called
for the
SOPs.
course.
Yeah.
Special Operations Preparation and Conditioning.
Right.
They take you
For
out
those
to
of you that
McCall.
are curious.
They take you out to McCall and they put you through like a less informal kind of selection.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of that because I spent time with my current position working out at McCall for 5 years, and then you could see the difference between the guys that are there for SOP C and the guys that are actually there through selection. The guys that are through selection are getting fucking smoked.
Yeah.
And they're just like, you can see they're just miserable as fuck.
Like, when I showed back up to 4th Battalion to report for the course, I mean, the SOPSI, we would come in, meet together, go do, workout, whatever, and we'd leave. And like, SOPSI has been out there getting their dick stomped the entire time.
Yeah.
I'd go out Yadkin Gate to my shithole apartment, clean up, come back in for like language school. And they're coming back down the boulevard, still getting their dicks kicked in.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck that, dude.
But I think, like you said, you're better prepared.
The end product, yeah. I mean, and they
make it.
They take you out into the woods around McCall, not on the STAR course, but they basically teach you. I mean, because like, one, as a bartender,
so past Muddy Lake and past all that. Yeah.
As a bartender, I didn't do a lot of land nav. I did have to try to find my house a couple times on the way home, but like,
navigation, I think, is a better skill, because if you can do it when you're drunk, then you can do it when you're sober.
I think he probably used his digits too in like one of his raps, which bet y'all didn't know. Todd used to rap. I'm just throwing that out there.
In my experience, drunk you only remembers drunk you. Sober you doesn't remember anything drunk you did.
Yeah, no, drunk.
So,
that
prime thing I had an old man tell me one time was,
"Are you talking to me again?"
No, much older than you. He also told me the way to have a long life was to drink PBR every day and smoke cigarettes. He died at 93, so you figure that out.
Like it's a good theory.
That's science.
But one thing, but what he told me was, I'm having a brain fart. Y'all just tripped me up. Damn it.
What he told you was brain fart.
Brain fart.
Yeah.
Drunk me.
Was, if you have a problem with drunk me, do not take it up with sober me. because sober me wasn't there.
Yeah.
I tell my wife that all the time.
That's why I tell you all the time.
Good luck with that.
I'm like, tell drunk Dan to take notes because sober Dan's not going to remember
But
what the
drunk
fuck.
Dan takes notes amazingly.
Yeah.
And here we
Sober
are,
Dan.
8 months later.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
There's bourbon.
And then we're born. So the advantage, is there an advantage for either side?
I think it's a mixed bag.
Yeah.
I know.
So the only reason I'm asking is because like you got our audience, we have young guys that are probably 18 to 25 that might be considering the selection process.
Go.
So it's a matter of
do it. I mean, if you're serious about it, do it.
right.
Yeah.
So, but it's a matter of if they're a civilian, would you recommend them do the 18 X-ray, or would you recommend them go in as a?
Where are you at in your life,
Right.
man? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
What
where
is your experience?
Can you?
Because there's a lot of guys that show up here that were collegiate athletes, professional athletes. But I mean, we've had Wall Street attorneys,
right.
Nuclear scientists.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
you name it.
Ron
Everything ends up in the realm of at least fifth group for
As
sure.
long as you got testicular fortitude.
And then,
Yeah.
100%.
Fifth group is pretty fucking badass.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
We're just in every conflict. That's all.
Yeah.
it's like,
That's fine.
oh, you guys can't figure it out. I guess we'll take Asia too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Right. They're like,
They're like,
We'll learn the
That's
language.
fine. We speak
gotta say
Arabic
this,
and stuff.
yeah.
That's fine.
I gotta say this now. You brought it up and you said it. So we had the NCO Soldier of the Quarter competition here recently. And
Yeah.
one of the soldiers was asked, what conflicts has fifth group been in since like
Every one of
Vietnam,
them.
right?
Every fucking one of
That
them.
was the exact minus the fuck. That was the exact words the soldier said.
I'd have promoted them on the spot,
Yeah.
way
Right.
above peers.
Yeah.
That was the exact
That'd have been the
word
end of the
he-
board, as a matter of fact.
Everyone?
Montlake, gotta love that spot.
Yeah.
I've got my truck stuck there a couple times.
You'd probably sink it right into a dead hooker out there.
Yeah.
Knowing Fort Bragg.
It might have been. I might have got high sided on a dead hooker body.
You know, get the job done.
Or you drive down Long Street and you end up in the tank field somewhere, and you're like, "What the fuck? Where am I at?"
Yeah.
But those are drunken adventures. Okay, talk about
Oh.
those.
Call those experiences.
Yeah, they're life experiences.
Well,
Now,
Fort
I'm,
Campbell could use a few more tank trails to train on around here.
That'd be fun, When it comes to you guys' training, how important do you think that is when it comes to an X-ray versus a traditional pipeline type person? Is there any difference, like when you're working yourself up, like physically training,
So,
mentally training? You know,
my
what I mean?
experience in outside looking in at the X-rays, they were prepped. Like
Yeah.
they are prepped. They get, like I said, they were getting their dicks kicked in for hours. Right?
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, people quit. Then
Yeah,
there needs
people
the
quit
army,
before
right?
selection.
Yeah,
There were a couple guys in my unit, and the only reason I went in June because I wanted to go in spring. Right? I'm at least that smart. Right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
but the guys in my unit kept delaying. Guys that wanted to go, they were going to go too, right? So I was the guy that walked around the motor pool with an assault pack at the time.
Yeah.
We had like 25. I up it to like 30, 35. People clowned the shit out of me.
but you were
know,
ready.
in my motor pool. They were like, "You fucking nerd, you're never going to make it," right? And then when I asked the guys that come,
You
train
go
us-
back now and you go.
yeah. I mean, I was a little not humble when I came back,
Yeah.
But some of the guys would come out and
Too
do
much
some
credit,
of
right?
the training that I was, my intent. Some of them would show up from time to time, but it started to become more and more excuses.
Yeah.
But when I went out to like Jordan Springs, Boiling Springs, and I was breaking brush or whatever, gravel, walking across water,
Oh, you walk on water?
walk across water.
Oh, okay.
Through. But I was alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I was doing all that training, like guys, but proof's in the pudding, man. So, you got to want it.
Oh yeah, I think that's the cornerstone for any of the guys that make it
Yeah.
through is you got to fucking want it and
Yeah,
know
I
your
know.
why.
You got to be prepared.
I know X-rays
Get your feet wet.
didn't make it.
Don't just walk on
Big Army
gravel.
news, it didn't
and
make it.
Don't just walk
Right.
on
Yeah.
concrete.
It's like I think there's probably like a slight higher percentage of X-rays that made it than regular Army dudes that didn't make it. But also, there's such a larger population of X-rays by selection than there was Big Army, and that is a lot due to the part that if you're a good dude that'll do well in SF selection and probably crush it, your unit has a real hard time letting go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Especially combat arms.
yeah.
So I went, a couple of guys went to selection with me. I come back to my unit. My commander was like, dude, whatever school you want to go to, come to me. I'll sign off on it. Right.
Yeah.
So I was trying to get experience to go to selection with. So, after selection, that's when I went to aerosol. That's when I went to Pathfinder. That's when I went to airborne. I had tried to rack and stack anything I could take to the table to work with. Prior 11 Bravo is probably some, long tab guys.
Right.
Not long tab, but scroll guys, Rangers.
Because normally you hear guys that come in a selection, they're coming from an 11 Bravo background.
Right. Typically, right?
Not always. So you took an unconventional route as well, coming from an armorer for a tank.
We'll go with that. Yeah, I fixed weapons, yes.
But,
and weapon systems.
Yeah, but you're an armorer. So that's kind of a unique pathway as well.
I mean,
most people don't
end up being a sergeant major before he retired in 3rd Battalion.
Yeah.
He was a wheel mechanic.
What the fuck?
Yeah. When he went.
Yeah.
So anybody, for those of you that are still they're curious, anybody that's looking for the chance to go to selection,
It's open to everybody.
It's open to every MOS.
Cannot stop you.
It's
regulation.
Yeah.
You can cook chicken fingers for 2 BCT.
Yeah.
And you can go to selection.
Yeah.
Okay.
All you gotta do is go see Sorb down the street.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
It's open to everybody.
And for those
your command's trying to stop you, reach out to the guys. I will get you
They'll fix
directly connected to the recruiters at
We
Sword.
got no problems with that.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like, is there a I don't like most places they have a website or something you can go to reach out if you're
Army.
I mean, you can literally just Google U.S. Army Sorb and it'll come up.
I
on the
think
website.
there's probably those little placards around.
Placards
They're
everywhere.
Yeah.
Go to the PX. Any
forever
PX,
ago. I know it was like Zach Tokak was like the
But
fucking dude,
but if
but
you're not in
it's
the
not
Army,
who the fuck it is.
you're not on an Army post or something, man. Yeah. Google Special Operations Recruiting.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? They'll get you where you need to go.
Or Army recruiter.
I mean, if you're on
Most
Fort
important
Campbell, it's
question.
off Kentucky Avenue.
So
Yeah.
Do you regret not going in sooner than 32 and a half?
Yeah, like I honestly I do.
34 and a half.
Oh, 34 and a half, sorry.
I do because like I should have gone in earlier because I knew it was what I wanted to do long before then, but I just got caught up in the bar scene and it's good money and there's nice things to look at and stuff, but like it's like I do regret not going in earlier, but
Lots of high beams.
I don't know where I was in my life at any point. I could have done what I did before I did what I did. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like I say yes, I would love to have came in at 21, fresh selection and
had more
retired
time.
by now.
Yeah, right.
But
That's 21 for me. I don't know.
I don't think I would
Yeah.
have been
had my head so far up my ass. I mean, I still do. I'm fucking 45.
Yeah.
Are you really?
Just ask my wife. Yes. Yeah.
Oh fuck, I'm the young one here.
Yeah, you are young.
43.
I picked old guys for you.
Nice. Thank you so much.
So
I'm
there was
finally not the host
also-
at the table.
I had the epiphany earlier when he said how old he was,
Yeah.
right? And he said he's halfway to retirement. He's halfway to retirement, but he's 3/4 of the way to Social Security.
That's beer math.
Yeah.
That's beer math.
Yeah.
That's definitely not. You
should be a sniper. That's business.
Or in this case, bourbon.
Did you-
math.
Yeah, that's true.
If you could go back to your younger self and say anything to make your time in selection easier, what would it be? We'll go with Todd first.
Not
And,
me. If I had to tell my younger self what would make selection easier is do you. Don't think about it, man. Like there's so many times that I would screw up on an event or something and be down on myself and be like, I'm not, like, and it would just like crush your spirit.
negative self-talk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, don't, man. Like that's self-assessment. That's what they're there for, like they assess you.
Mm.
Do what you do it as well as you can. And at the end of the day, you're either going to get picked or you're not. But if you don't, then you can come back and do it the fuck again.
Because a lot of times you gotta get an invite back if you're
If
close.
you're fucking awful, yeah.
As long as they don't.
NTR you,
Yeah. As long as you
Yeah.
don't get NTR.
But
Okay.
like, if you show up, put out, do shit, like you're not gonna get NTR'd. If you put what you got into it and you don't make it, man, still you did it.
Yeah.
You tried, man. But if you show up and you sweat the small stuff, as they say, like this ain't for you.
Right.
Because you're going to fucking face that your entire fucking career.
Man, I kept trying to quit, but I just couldn't find anybody to quit to. So I just kept walking. And then they're like, you finished. And I was like, oh, no shit. Right. I went with the mindset, the older mindset, like, I'm going to put it all on the table and I'm going to let these experts decide for me.
Okay.
And my intent was to do it once and do it. And that was
Never
it.
again.
You know? So for all intents and purposes, everybody has doubt and quit in their mind.
Yeah.
It's the people that voice it.
Well, of course, that's their point of those guys is to get that quiet whisper to be a scream.
Yeah, because you have to overcome that.
So you either quit or you don't.
Right.
You know, and I know a lot of them are like, just don't quit. Just don't quit. But for yourself, younger yourself, what would you have recommended to make selection a little bit?
I don't think there would have been anything because I was in a hungry spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I joined the
You were
Army.
hungry for it.
I joined the Army intently. I watched from 26 and M Street. I watched the Pentagon burn on 9/11. Right. So it took me 3 years to get in because I was a knucklehead. Right. And it wasn't until Bush threw out the dragnets in 2004 that I finally got in. So I had a lot of drive. Practice wife and I weren't in a great spot, so I was just like, you know what, fucking, this is what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So,
do you have anything that you would recommend for people that are willing to serve as a special forces operator?
Yeah, you got to understand why. Normally, I would put what are your top 5 reasons, right? That's going to look a lot different for somebody that's in as opposed to somebody that's off the street, right? You got to know why you want it. What are your top 5 reasons, right? Money is your driving factor. Don't even fucking try. You're not going to make it.
They're like, well, I get jump pay, I get language pay, I get.
You're going to waste everybody's time, especially yours. And you're probably going to get hurt.
Somebody told me it in Jersey Mike's the other day. Man, I want to join Special Forces. I would love to be able to wear PTs to work.
What the fuck? That was his main motivation.
That is not.
I mean, everybody's
not going to drive you to succeed.
There's benefits to, you know.
I've never seen you all wear
membership
PTs
has its privileges, but that's not the reason that we get there.
I'm talking about my shorts.
Yeah.
I'm wearing jorts right now, guys. You can't see the lower out.
I do have a question. This has been bugging me since we started this episode.
It is.
There was a brown paper bag setting here that was full, and now it's empty. So I'm wanting to know what Blaine is hiding.
This is a surprise. Elijah Craig single barrel 10-year. It's barrel proof. So that comes in at 124. Again, it's a 10-year. This is a private barrel select only through Bill's package store, right? It is not being put out to the masses. So.
And that's what at 41A across from Walmart.
Yeah, but I mean, Bill's is where you go for all your.
So what are you doing with that?
That's going to be for here. So y'all are more than welcome to it. I am not going to partake. I have a bottle at the house, but nonetheless, I wanted to bring it up to you. That was the one I said was offered. Then I said I was offered off the table. It's back on the table. I can acquire it. Y'all need some bottles. Let me know how many. We'll manage that.
I'll take a couple.
Cool. But
let me know.
We're also by Thanksgiving, early November, we should have the Legion Legacy Whiskey Thief private single barrel select release. That'll go out probably 2 weeks on the email. So you'll see.
But that's group internal, right?
So you guys
group only. So it's going to be 185 bottles. But we also picked another barrel that we think we're going to release for December too. So.
You got anything else you want to plug for your brothers, your brotherhood, or otherwise while you guys are on?
Now we are. As we drop that Legion Legacy, we're gonna throw a little sticker on there. We got some things in the work. I'd look forward. We're probably gonna be working together. We have something we're not gonna display too much here, but the intent is helping create a better community by bringing authentic, genuine people together and striving to be some of the front runners and overall taste buds experts. And in the experience of bourbon, there's a lot of white noise out there. Especially some local clubs here in this area.
Yeah.
And I don't see a whole lot being brought to the table and shared true fashion when they're considering money and whatnot. That's where I'll leave that. Look forward to having some more pours for y'all at different times.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to tasting
having us all, man. We get more in the weeds at a more convenient time.
Oh yeah, we could do this more often. And then Todd, you got anything you got going on in your life you want to plug in or?
I have absolutely nothing going on in my life right now, which is the first time in a while. So
yeah.
Are you doing the color run?
It's refreshing.
I won't be doing the color run in the morning because these colors don't run. You know what I'm saying? Nailed it. But no, I'm yeah, I got nothing going on. So look me up.
For ladies, if you're looking, he's
No,
apparently
his wife will
bored.
whoop it.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Just kidding. Just
Just
kidding.
He will drop a line for a rap for you.
I definitely will not.
No, we got to drop a beat so he can do a rap. You know.
Kick it.
It's gonna be an EDM.
Yeah,
Like a 70s porn.
Yeah.
yeah.
You
It's gonna match
see the
the 70s
mustache?
porn mustache.
Do you see the mustache?
By the way, I
I
just want
thought
to
Seals only did the mustache. When did that start?
But I started this in 20. I'm just going to coin it for the entire Legion. I did it.
In 20.
And this was all.
I will have
due
you
to my
look.
wife.
Have you look at my wedding pictures from 2018 and see this mustache, and I will
Did
also
that
have.
pass through basic training and your time in service? When did it come back?
So,
I'll tell you what.
I will have you know that in 2018, I was approached by Sergeant Major Ridings, and he walked into the office one day and he looked at me and he said, "What the fuck, man? I can't keep covering for that bullshit."
Fair enough.
So I went on leave.
Okay. That's gonna wrap it up for Bourbon Sauce. Cheers. Thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Been great.